155 has found a voice. I mean, thank goodness, right? A division that didn't used to exist because it was so uninteresting and then stuck around for so many years while being completely uninteresting now has a voice. And it's very refreshing. I'm very happy that it does. I couldn't say it about 25. I can't say it about 45. I can't say it about 85 at all with the absence of Odyssey. I mean, I think I could go through it. It's a real compliment to 55. But it's also impossible to not just roll your eyes and be annoyed at some of the voices. I mean, you got Justin Gaethje coming out as early as today saying that if Conor McGregor gets a title fight next, he would consider never fighting for the UFC again. Right? I mean, it's one of those things, right? The art of war. The art of war is very simple. You convince your enemy that you have a weapon that they can't deal with. And then the second part, you must convince your enemy that you're willing to use it. It's a two-prong approach, but if you ever get there, you win. No battle is going to happen. If Justin Gaethje was to get up and exit stage left now, in exchange for Conor McGregor, Justin Gaethje is going to get up and go. There is no bluff there. There is no threat there. And for Justin Gaethje, who I have argued publicly for 3 years, I have used the same line referring Justin Gaethje on any platform that will listen to me, which is a good choice for number one contender at any time is Justin Gaethje. Any question you have at 155, the right answer is Justin Gaethje. And that's true, including right now. If you want to say Justin Gaethje is going to go fight for a world championship, good call, good decision. But for Gaethje to base the fact that Conor, who can outdraw and outsell him any given day, should not get a title fight because he just got smoked in his last fight. Do you see the problem there? Justin Gaethje thinks he should get a title fight against a guy who already beat him, coming off getting smoked. But Conor should not be able to fight the same person in question because Conor just got smoked. I mean, do you see where this gets a little weird? Not to mention, this is what dreams are made of. The wrong guy stepping in at the right time is exactly what dreams are made of. Michael Bisping is a world champion and a current Hall of Famer right now. Right now, because he was willing to step in at a time that nobody else would. And I understand that the nobody else would and the time part is a little bit irrelevant. What I'm sharing to you is so is the argument that Gaethje's making. First off, the threat that he would leave. Okay. And secondly, what Conor should get. That's none of your business. That's absolutely none of your business. Dustin Poirier, by beating both of you, by the way, is the only one here that clearly is going to fight for a title. Clearly. Because he beat all the rest of you. The question now becomes who should face him? Should it be the guy who's beaten him once and now they're 1-1? Oh, and by the way, the guy's a big draw. He's a big star. And you have to understand, Poirier should not get punished. And in many ways, that's what would happen. If you wanted to go pure straight line ranking, or you wanted to just look at parity, or you just wanted to look at what the lines in Vegas would be the closest. Okay. But now you could be punishing a guy who did nothing wrong, who's Poirier, which is where his opinion has to matter. I saw many people try to do this same thing when John Jones came off a suspension, still pico grands in his system, and got to fight for a world title. But the problem with trying to stop John and John's bad action is you would be punishing Gustafsson, who did nothing wrong, who earned something good to happen and used that good favor to ask for John. That's who Gus wanted to fight, and Gus did nothing wrong. So when Gaethje says this, and you have to understand, when I brought the comparison to Bisping stepping in on short notice and becoming a world champion, that's what dreams are made of. But that's exactly what happened the night that Gaethje won a world championship. He was not the guy. He was not the rightful guy. Khabib Nurmagomedov was. But Khabib wasn't available, and Justin had the balls to step in and do it. And we all stood back and said, man, that was awesome. Did not see that coming. How'd you do this? And how did you do this on such short notice? I mean, it adds to the story, to the legend of Justin Gaethje. The fact that not only did he do it, he was given an opportunity. I mean, a lot of things had to happen. right? If Justin in make-believe land went out and did this on his own, that's exactly where he lives, is in make-believe land. He had a lot of things happen and a lot of people who helped and ultimately chose to offer an opportunity to him. If he sees that any different than that, he's living in an alternative reality. It's not what happened. And the same as threatening his own removal from a sport. First off, I mean, right, do you see the silliness? You don't want to sound like a jerk. You don't want to sound like a jerk by saying the obvious response, but who cares? You don't want to say that. But at the same time, that's not a real threat. And at the same time, that's not going to stop anybody from moving things forward. Moreover, taking away from Dustin Poirier, who's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong, including saying, hey, Chandler, you and Oliveira get together. You both look like great fighters. All I do is fight great fighters. All I'm going to do is have to fight really hard fights. But I'm not going to have to fight both of you because I'm going to make one of you eliminate the other. Fair play. Smart move. Smart move. But you also see the difference in attitude. Gaethje, who has not been heard of since the night he lost to Khabib, looked like he was taking a break. But the one chance he came out to be heard, he spoke about someone else instead of saying who he would like to fight. We've heard that they're trying to get Gaethje and Oliveira together. One of those guys is a chicken. We just don't know who it is. We're going to find out. They've managed to play this very close to the vest. Sooner or later, if that fight doesn't get signed, we're going to hear who the skunk at the garden party is. We're going to hear who was scared of who. Michael Chandler is now available and in a higher spot, I would argue, than Oliveira or Gaethje. You can tell me that's not fair. I don't say it is fair. But I do understand the guy that rides in from out of town wearing the white shirt knows the most. I see it all the time just in my own practice room. Have the greatest coaches in the world. Some guy comes from out of town. We all stop what we're doing to listen to like he's got some kind of a secret that our own coach that we see every day doesn't, but it's a reality. The new face, the new parody, the splash into the scene. It's one of those things. So a smart move would be go after Chandler. Knock him out. Boom. Now there's no argument. You slide right into a title shot. But when you're having a losers convention arguing about who the best of the losers was, it's very bizarre. So what, we're going to bring Conor in, who just lost by finish. We're going to bring Diaz in, who lost by finish. We're going to bring Gaethje in, who lost his last fight by finish, and argue of those losses, which booby prize was the least decisive. I mean, is that what we're doing? I don't even understand the rules to the game. All I know is that Gaethje is going to have to consider fighting somewhere else. He said that. I'm going to consider if Conor fights for a title. Well, what if it's not for a title? What if we continue to just hold that title up? It lives in purgatory. Nobody has it, but at least it's not up for grabs. Then can Conor fight Poirier? That answer has to be yes, because it happened 4 days ago and nobody made the big threat of reprisal, right? So you're okay with the fight. You're not okay with the reward. Do you see where that gets a little bit weird?